To a Monday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Banners Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing. HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Excuse me. Need to have that on mute. My apologies. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Maybe enjoyed some downtime. It was nice to not really have any obligations. That changes moving forward. This weekend coming up, E-Rock's birthday on the 30th. The next weekend I'll be emceeing a charity event. And then we are full on into Saints camp, LSU camp, preseason games, and man, it's here. It is here. All right, so Saints open up camp on the 27th, so it's Wednesday. Saints open camp on the 27th. Other camps have already opened. The Bengals have opened camp as they try to defend their AFC title, get back to the Super Bowl again. We can talk position battles, certainly rookies that will have an impact, all that good stuff. So we'll start to get some answers to those questions we have as we move through this week. So y'all fire away anything you got. You know the drill, and we'll roll for we got about 30 minutes here this morning, and we'll make it happen. So, all right, let's see. Trivia. Good morning, Jeremiah Hardell. Sup, Scone. How about Mondo Duplantis? Yeah, so Mondo Duplantis. Hang on, I'll tell you, he won another championship. Oh, all right, so he's the world record. LSU Track tweeted this. He's the world record holder, the Olympic gold medalist, and now the world indoor gold medalist. The World Athletics Championship gold medalist. He's only 22 years old. And so he won at the World Athletic Championships yesterday is what he won. So he's incredible. I mean, I'll tell you all, I mean, I said this when he was at LSU, or actually I've said this during the Olympics, I think, but I don't love that he competes for Sweden. I get it. You know, his parents or his family's from there, all that. But it's like, bro, you were born in Lafayette. Like, you're born in Lafayette. You're an American-born citizen. You lived your whole life here. Like, you're an American. I don't like that he competes for another country. But he's still incredible. No denying that. Cliff Nelson, Larry Garner, Jeff, what's up, dude? Good morning. Let's see. Cliff Nelson, smash the like button, thank you. Wendell Norman, Weston Weaver, T-Bob's slightly less attractive cousin. Tim Gautreau, good morning. Bill Schmid, Truax, what's good? Patrick McKenzie, what's on the agenda for AFR today? Patrick, I think today, we went last week through the kind of like a draft recap for baseball. I'm going to start to try to get some of those guys on the show. And I'll tell you all this, actually. This is kind of some news. I was told on Friday that LSU is going to have big NIL news today. So I don't know the news, but I was contacted and they asked if they could have Taylor Jacobs, who's the head of compliance at LSU, on AFR today. So at 4 o'clock, we'll have LSU's head of compliance on the show because apparently this morning there is going to be big NIL news. I wish I could tell you more. I don't know what it is, but they're gonna drop something this morning. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Kelly Gross, Kirk Taylor, Jerry DeLucky. Good morning. Brant Roban. Morning, Scone. Has everything panned out like we hoped for this summer for baseball and football and recruiting? I mean, Brand, as far as baseball, I thought they did exceptionally well in the draft. I don't know if y'all saw yesterday, Tucker Toman signed for over slot. His slot value was like in the 800s. They gave him $2 million. So I mean, I think baseball did better than they anticipated. Some of the guys that are going to be on campus, they were not expecting to be here. So yeah, I thought baseball did well, and football is really started churning. I mean, I'll tell you all that one of the best things that's happened for LSU in football here in the last month is that they finally got some big money boosters to engage in the NIL space. So I don't think it's any coincidence that you've seen LSU go on this heater in recruiting after that happened. And it was not a large collection. It was a short number of boosters that were all implored to commit a large dollar sum, which together created a very healthy NIL pool for football. So that was about a month ago, maybe a little less than a month ago, which clearly coincides with this run they're on. So I think if you're honest with yourself, you look at it and you say recruiting success isn't solely because of NIL, but if that's a deciding vote, then you have the vote now. You have to say the same thing about A&M's class. Some of those guys pick solely based on NIL, but at the same time, it might have just been the deciding vote for many others, where they were considering, an athlete might have been considering 2 or 3 schools. Well, if this school is offering more in NIL, that's your deciding vote. Well, they get, LSU is at a point now for many of those players where they can kind of cast that vote. Brian Penton, good morning. Randy Bennett, Brian Broom, Brian Wynn, good morning. Where are we? Kurt, we having Scone and Tea Wednesday. Yes, Scone and Tea returns from Oliver Twist on Wednesday, 8 o'clock. I'm sorry, 7 o'clock. Took a week off and I forgot what time we do the show. 7 o'clock, yes. Scone and Tea from Oliver Twist on Wednesday. Samuel, who do you think is the Yankees' biggest challenge for the championship? I think it's Houston. The Astros are playing well, and the Yanks have had more trouble with them seemingly than any other team this year. So Houston. Shane Henry, good morning. Chance Babb, did you hear Skeens visited LSU this weekend? I have not asked about that. I can try to find out today. What's the word there? For those who don't know, that's the two-way kid from Air Force. A pitcher, play in the field, or a hitter, batter, really talented guy. So I've not, and honestly, Chance, haven't asked, but I can ask today. Let's see, Stephen Fry, Tyler Alexander, good morning. Robbie White, morning, man. How much stock do you put into bloodlines or legacies when it comes to recruits? Well, that's interesting. Like, what do you mean, for example? Like, is that the Arch Manning thing? I know while we were at Media Days, there was that whole kerfuffle where somebody said Arch Manning wouldn't be a 5-star number 1 player if his last name wasn't Manning. I mean, kind of candidly, Robbie, you all know, like, I'm not out here scouting film. I'm not a scout, so I have no idea. I think sometimes there's validity to sort of the mental or intangible part of the game. What I mean is, like, if you're a kid and you grew up in locker rooms or on fields, you're just very comfortable in that setting. And so I think a transition to college or the NFL may help. Like Max Johnson was a good example of that. He was around professional football, his dad, all that sort of stuff, won a Super Bowl. So I think Max Johnson being around the game at a high level wasn't really a tough transition. If you come from, and this isn't like a universal truth. I mean, there's obviously guys whose parents didn't play who became, fantastic. Well, look at Joe Burrow. His dad played and coached. He was around it all the time. It's a very easy, very natural thing for him, right? I don't know if that's what you mean. Was LSU late to the party with NIL? Yes. We have smart dudes running athletics. Wonder if things were set up earlier, if we could have landed some bigger fish. Yes. I mean, Brant Flatley. I mean, I've told, if y'all have listened to me over the last 8 months, even longer, and I've told y'all what happened. Like, it was a very expensive year and a half from you know, buying out the remainder of Maneri's contract, or I guess you're having Maneri still on contract, while also paying Jay Johnson. You pay Kim Mulkey 2.5, whatever it is, for your women's basketball coach. You had to pay $17 million to buy out Ogeron, commit $100 million to Brian Kelly. Like, it's expensive. And then you go to these same boosters and say, hey, we have to pay the players too. And they're like, huh? That was the reaction they got. Because when you're giving money to TAF, at least you're getting something for it, right? Like, you get TAF points, priority, whatever. When you're paying the players, it's just not associated. And Louisiana wasn't set up to have a collective, and so Gordon McKernan jumped in and just took matters into his own hands, but a lot of people didn't want to follow his lead. To be clear, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Like, Gordon's been very nice to me, and I think he's a genuinely good guy. I've enjoyed getting to know him a lot. But there are boosters with far deeper pockets than even Gordon has, and those people weren't engaging. And now that the state legislature has passed the law to allow for the collective, they've got some organization and structure there, and now it's being funded. So, like, here's the thing. Brand said, it was Chance said LSU was the first to promote NIL Times Square. We didn't have the money to back it. So LSU was very much, if you remember when NIL first went live on July 1st of last year, there were still people who were not in favor of it. And I think something that was heady was LSU went and were like, hey, we're open for business. Come on. NILSU. What they didn't have was a collective or deals set up, ready to go, where places like A&M and Ohio State did. So that was the shortcoming for LSU, which is being fixed now, which is a good thing. Brian Wynn, Matt, would you expect any of the quarterback candidates to transfer after fall camp if not chosen to start? So, Brian, a big part of that thing is going to depend on what the NCAA Division I Council does. I don't know if y'all saw over the weekend, or late last week, they recommended allowing for like blanket transfers, not just a one-time deal. But as it stands right now, you have a one-time transfer pass, right, where you can transfer and play for free. Transfer and not have to sit out. The reason I bring that up is Jaden Daniels. Daniels just transferred to Baton Rouge. If Daniels doesn't win the job, as of right now, leaving would do him no good. Because he'd have to go sit out somewhere, unless he went down and played at a lower level, which he could do. We've seen that before. But I would say that Brennan would be the one that would make the most sense to leave if he didn't win the job, because it's his final year of eligibility. So if he actually wants to play, it would behoove him if he didn't win the job. Let me rephrase that. I could understand why if he didn't win the job, he would leave and go somewhere where he could play, and he could do that as long as it was before as my understanding is, before the semester started. So it would have to be sometime during fall camp before school starts, which usually is the end of August, beginning of September. All right, y'all, smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube. Appreciate that. Facebook, like the page, share the post. Ronnie Duga, what's up, man? Good seeing you and Drew Saturday, although brief. I popped in yesterday but couldn't stay. I'll probably watch later. All good, man. Good to see you Saturday. Rapping Batches, Wendell Norman, NIL and Brian Kelly equals dangerous. Oh man, I'm sorry, Matt. I missed your comment. I'll be honest, my weekend sucked. Lost my cat of 14 years on Thursday. He'd been sick for the last 2 months. Was still very active. Missed the heck out of him. Very sorry to hear that, Matt. Man, losing pets just sucks. There's no other way around it, man. So, very, very sorry. I mean, honestly, Matt, that's one of the reasons like we haven't gotten dogs again after our dogs died. So I just don't want to go through it again. But man, very sorry. Spurge, good morning. Jeremiah Hardell, prayers for Texans wide receiver John Mechie. Yeah, I saw that, man. Mechie got diagnosed with leukemia. Apparently it's a very treatable form of leukemia, which is the great news. And Mechie's coming off the torn ACL as well, so he's rehabbing that to begin with. But yeah, most definitely, throw up a few prayers for him for a speedy recovery. Let's see, what if college athletes weren't allowed to sign NIL deals until they are upperclassmen, or at least till sophomore? Yeah, you just can't do that, Jeremiah. If you ever tried to limit or put restrictions on NIL earning potential, you would have an immediate class action lawsuit. That's what's been not only I guess threatened is the right word, but discussed. And I mean, because if you're going to have this free marketplace, then it has to be a free marketplace. So if you try to cap the amount of NIL potential or do what you just suggested, make them wait to be able to earn money. I mean, how would you justify that for someone like Quinn Ewers, who got a 7-figure deal at Ohio State, before he ever took a snap? What if Derek Stingley is a freshman All-American at LSU? You mean to tell me during his freshman year he wouldn't be able to earn anything? And flip it over to baseball. The benefit for NIL for a lot of these baseball guys is going to be taking care of tuition. Offsetting the 11.7. In baseball, you have 11.7 scholarships. You got to divide among your whole roster. So very few of your players are on a full ride. Like a lot of them are paying some form of tuition. Well, NIL could offset that, let them go for free. But as a freshman or a sophomore, they can't. They can't get NIL deals. So, I mean, I understand your point, but it's, first of all, you would have immediate lawsuits. Second of all, it's just not, I just don't think that's functional. I think that's the right thing to do. Eric Waterrotter, morning, Matt. I noticed that team logos are edited out of player picks on the GameCoin website. Potentially dumb question. Curious if it will be the case on player tokens once the site goes live. No, that is a good question. The reason that they're edited out is, and if you'll notice, it's really just LSU, because LSU had a big problem with using their marks, the logos and marks, etc. Some other schools don't care. They're good with the branding and want their athletes to use whatever they want. LSU does not want its student athletes using its marks. So, the short answer there is yes and no. There will likely be some where you have it, and many where you don't, unless if you work a licensing deal with that school or league to be able to use the marks. Let's see, hopefully we finally see the progression with Cesar Ruiz this year. Yeah, you know what, man, I'm hopeful for that as well. I just think he's out of position. I think he was a center. I think he was drafted to play center when Max Unger abruptly retired. Eric McCoy obviously played center when Unger retired, and then they knew they were getting rid of Larry Warford, so the idea was kick McCoy over to guard and play Ruiz at center, but McCoy was just a dominant center, and it was Ruiz's final year, and they didn't want to disrupt that quarterback center battery, for would have been a third center in 3 years from Unger and McCoy to Ruiz. And McCoy ended up being one of the best centers in the game. So they tried to make Ruiz into a guard, which he's not. So I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know how effective he'll be. Whenever everyone always likes to say, well, they passed on Patrick Queen to draft Ruiz. I think you can make that a similar statement in every draft with passing on a player. But the Saints didn't need linebacker help at that point. They knew they were cutting Larry Warford in a cap saving move, and they needed a starting offensive lineman, so they took one. It hadn't panned out. Robbie White, as a fellow father of a special needs child, doesn't it feel like they purposely try our patience more on Sunday? Some days, yes. Yeah, Saturday when we went to Rouse's for the whiskey tasting, we were walking around and we were there for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer than that. And then Drew had just had enough. He was just done. And he let me know he was done. So I didn't mean to abruptly leave. I know there's a lot of people who came that I didn't get to see, but anyway. Charlie Cavell, Kirk Taylor, any word on Kamara's legal status? No, the next hearing is in August, so it got pushed back. So we'll see how the judge resolves that case. Daniel Cass, have you heard good things about Noah Cain since he stepped on campus? Sure, yeah. He's healthy, coming off the an injury a couple of seasons ago, lost his job this past year, but I think that's really the key for him. Is be healthy and maximize that opportunity. Caleb Clark, good morning. Michael Cook, good morning. Chance Babin, LSU football should be improved. If not, Mulkey and JJ are going to be loaded, so it should be a great year. Look, I'll put it this way to you, Chance. I think LSU football will absolutely improve over 6-6. So I do think you'll have a better season in football. I believe that firmly. I think Kim Mulkey will have a shot at the Final Four this year. Curious about Matt McMahon, year one, having overhauled the roster. I think they'll probably be a bubble team. Would love to see them make the tournament, but I'm not necessarily expecting it. We also have to wait and see what the NCAA sanctions will be. And then I think it would be a huge disappointment if baseball is not in Omaha. Similar to the way it was a huge disappointment this year for Tennessee losing in the Super Region. I think it would, baseball might be about that level. They're not in Omaha. They're going to be one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the country. And see how it goes. Kirk, so big NFL news today, correct? Yeah, NIL, news, yes. So that's what I was told. I was contacted Friday by someone over at LSU, said, hey, we have big NIL news, drop it on Monday. Are you interested in having our head of compliance on? So I said, sure. So 4 o'clock today, start hour 2, we'll have LSU's head of compliance on to talk about whatever the NIL news is they're going to drop today. And I don't know what it is, but Jeremiah, I know you aren't huge into motorsports, but for an IndyCar and NASCAR fan, that was one of the craziest weekends I've ever watched. Jeremiah, not only did I not watch, I don't even know what happened. So to say I'm not huge into it is actually an understatement. I am not into it at all. I don't even know what happened. So, but if you enjoyed it, brother, I'm fired up for you. All right, anything else? Quentin Breakbill, good morning. As always, shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, brortho.com, Hoodco Roofing, hoodcoroofing.com. Do business for someone you know, Hoodco Roofing, hoodcoroofing.com. How about that storm yesterday? Oh my God. It looked like we had hurricane force winds outside. Trees were being thrown all over the place. It was bonkers. Have roof issues? Give us a shout. Hoodco Roofing. David Bass, I feel LSU is the third best talent in the SEC. Should finish that way with Brian Kelly at the helm, then be right back in the thick of things within 3 years. Well, here you go. Here's your blue chip ratio. This is the percent of 4 and 5 star recruits on rosters. We went through this before I went to media days. Here you go. LSU has the 4th best roster in the SEC, according to the blue chip ratio. That's the percentage of 4 and 5 star guys on the roster. Bama, Georgia, A&M. So Bama's at 89%, 4 and 5 stars. Georgia's at 77%. A&M's at 70%. LSU's at 60. LSU's at 66. Florida's at 60. And Auburn's at 54. So LSU has the 4th best roster. Jeremiah, you want the HUDCO jingle? Okay, been a minute actually, because I don't think. Jeremiah, you want the HUDCO jingle? Okay, been a minute actually. All right.
Someone you know, Scone, Ontario. All you need is HUDCO. Call HUDCO Roofing. 364-1007.
Trivia. Thanks, Jeremiah. You're welcome, Trivia Carter. Erica, but hang on one second. Erica, she either ignored me, trivia, or she didn't hear me. But I was going to ask your question. And let's see. Daniel Cass, I personally hope the ideal quarterback situation will turn out to be like it was in 07. Brennan full-time starter, Daniels and Wildcat passing plays. Hey, babe. Trivia wants to know when he's going to get his Drew birthday party favor. She said this week. I have a feeling that might be the answer in perpetuity. You know, Daniel, bye, babe. You know, Daniel, I just, don't quite understand. I mean, okay, I do. Emotionally, I understand the support for Brennan. He's a guy that has, waited his turn. He has had 2 unfortunate injuries each of the last 2 years that cost him a chance to be a starter. He's just not been that good. I know people are going to look, man, he had 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns and 3 picks in the 3 games, 1,100 yards in 3 games. That's true, but look at his passing attempts. I mean, the defenses were so bad, they were just slinging it around, and he was attempting 50 passes in a game. I mean, that Mississippi State game, he was 27 of 46. The Missouri game where he threw for 430, he was 29 of 48. I mean, he was throwing 50 pass attempts. I mean, of course he has a lot of yards. I was against State, Vandy, and Mizzou, completing, 58%, 60%, 62% of your passes. Look, I think it would be an amazing story if he wins the job and has a great year. It would be a great story. I just don't know how you can say that that's a best case, because he said he started 3 games in his career. 3. Like, and it was in the COVID season against State, Vandy, and Mizzou. And he wasn't that good then. Listen, man, I pull for him. If he wins the job, I would love to see him just ball out and have a great year. Be a great hat tip for the perseverance he's shown, battling through the injuries. I think he's represented himself in LSU very well. Never a sniff of trouble off the field. Like, all that sort of stuff I think is awesome. And would love to see it work out. I just don't think he's the best option. Kirk, if Baton Rouge gets a hockey team, will you cover it? No. Come on. I mean, Kirk, if they're packing the joint every night and it's something that everybody cares about, of course. But no. Come on, man. Anything on the fall practice schedule yet? They start August the 4th. At least that's what we were told at media days. They start August the 4th. Jeff McKithen, good morning. All right, anything else? Sure, if he wants his lemon cookies too. How much do you think Aaron Judge will make this offseason? He was smart to bet on himself, wasn't he? I mean, do you have the first $500 million athlete? You know, the thing that's curious is everybody that's gotten these 10-year contracts, they, at the end of the contract, it's never worked out well. The thing about Judge is he's 30. So I don't know that you're going to give, I don't know you're going to give Judge the 10 year, like, you know, when Albert got his 10-year, $250 million, or A-Rod, whatever, yeah, give him that to a 30-year-old, you know, because you legit have to wonder how much longer will he be at this level. I would rather give him a top dollar contract for 5 years. And there was a report yesterday, I don't know if y'all saw it, but the Yankees were, this was from USA Today, that the Yankees are willing to increase their offer from $213 million to $290 million. So the average annual value would be $36 million, which equals Mike Trout. And they would do it for 8 years. So, just can't give a dude at 30 years old a 10-year contract. All right. Yeah, no, not $600 million. Not $600 million. All right, any more? Checking comments. Chris Andropont, good morning. All right, Jeremiah, appreciate you. Y'all, if you're on YouTube, smash the like button on the way out, please. Just take a quick second, smash that like button. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe up to the channel. It's easy, it's free. You just hit the red subscribe button. That way the videos post in your feed whenever I post them. So appreciate that. And then Facebook, please like the Matt Moscona page if you've not done so yet. Share the post. We appreciate y'all as always. All right, LSU Daily returns today. Lots of ways you can get content here. Morning Scone, LSU Daily. Alex Barnes, morning Scone. You're our best of 225 every day. Thank you. Yeah, did not win best of 225. Finished second. I don't even know. It was best radio person. I don't even know who won. I haven't even gotten the magazine. I just saw that I finished second. So, thanks to everybody who voted. That's an uphill climb considering the readership is mostly a, you know, middle-aged female demographic. It's going to skew sort of away from sports talk, but the fact that I'm nominated every year has been really cool, and thank you everyone sincerely who did vote for me. I think that's really cool. Best 225 is pretty cool. Let's see, or the Yanks could trade for Soto and sign him to a 13-year deal. Could do that too. All right, y'all. I think we're just about done. All right, y'all have a great day. So LSU Daily, AFR3. We'll look forward to seeing y'all there. And as always, shout out to Brock Rockin' One. We're less than 2 weeks away now, Saturday, August the 6th, in Tiger Stadium. If you've never been to South Stadium Club, you'll be able to drink wine, eat food, listen to live music, bid on live and silent auction items, hang out in Tiger Stadium, South Stadium Club for a night a few weeks before the season starts. Of course, HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Thank you, Trivia. I demand a recount. Okay, y'all have a great day. Appreciate y'all. Peace.